We're waiting.
Welcome into the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. My name is Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining me this afternoon as we get you set up here on a, man, what day is it? It's Thursday. So much basketball on at night. I can't keep up with all of it. Y'all know that I've got the ADD, and I battle with it every day. I treat it with Sprite Zero and the meds my doctor give me. That's about it. Anyway, before we get started today, let's give you the rundown of what we're going to go over. First of all, for a moment, the biggest story in sports right now. I know we're jockeying for NCAA tournament stuff. I get that. But the biggest story is Major League Baseball and how they need to get their stuff together. And it looks like they may be getting it close. We shall see. There is John Heyman says, word from one agent, we're down to the 2-yard line. Others agree things are promising. Hey, if you want a reason to hate the New York Mets, I mean, look, there are scumbag teams. The Houston Astros lead the list, the Boston Red Sox, New York Yankees, but the New York Mets are right up there on the list, also according to John Heyman. Word is there are a couple of Mets players concerned about the CBT, and one or two are arguing against accepting the MLB offer. Mets look destined to pay the biggest tax, and it's possible they're concerned fourth tier relax could inhibit spending. I don't care. You're in New York. Deal with it. You stole money from people with Bernie Madoff. Deal with it. You shouldn't get a vote. You and the Astros and the Yankees and the Red Sox should just play in your own division, and it shouldn't be watched by anybody, just closed-circuit television in those markets. I despise all four of those franchises. Sorry. Anyway. Yeah, Brandon says, if I get a spring roster for the Gamecocks, hope you can post it. I'd like to see what players are not returning. Yeah, that and we'll get all that, I guess, when spring practice gets underway. We're going to talk a little bit today about JT Daniels, where he may end up. We'll talk about some quarterback battles that are going to be going on and are going to be front and center for the upcoming spring games for teams around the country. So we'll get into that. Also, we'll get some stuff to watch in the from the SEC tournament. We'll get into that as well. And, of course, we'll have our finger on the pulse of anything else that's just happening. The JT Daniels saga continues, by the way. Yeah, what a mess that's turning into. All right, but I got to start last night with we kind of put a wrap on the Clemson basketball season. I don't think they're making a tournament. I just don't. I think they were just too wishy-washy, lost some games they shouldn't have had out there. Yeah, BB with another story. Women sues Jerry Jones, alleges that the Dallas Cowboys owner paid her mother to conceal that he was her biological father. I don't understand why any of that's out there. That's personal business, but yeah, I mean, it is. It with Jerry Jones being the person that he is, it's definitely there on that. So yeah, I don't really have any issue with when you have that much power, things happen. So anyway, last night Clemson was up against Virginia Tech, and they got to a point where, hey, they get it to overtime. They were down 13, and then the wheels fall off in the final seconds as they lose to Virginia Tech on this shot.
Across the court with 4 seconds. Maddox with the ball in his hands, fires for 3. Got it! Darius Maddox drills it from the left wing and wins the game for Virginia Tech in overtime. Mobbed by his teammates, Darius Maddox has just saved Virginia Tech's season.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, Brownell from up at Clemson had some comments. At first, I mean, this is kind of he just comes off as just dry sometimes, but his comment on that.
You know, this is painful.
I thought my guys played well enough at the end, especially to win. And, we didn't guard the last play very well. And it, they made a big shot.
Then he was asked about that final shot. And here's what he said about that final play as Virginia Tech knocks off the Tigers.
We picked him up, but we just kept backing up. We obviously talked about, hey, if they screen, we're switching. If they go screen, what we're doing, all these scenarios. At the end of the day, they just threw it to a guy and he dribbled up and shot it over our guy.
Tough loss there for Clemson. They're 17-15, something like that. I think they're going to be on the outside looking in. Now, let's pivot to South Carolina, because South Carolina will play tonight in the SEC tournament, and we shall see what is going to happen there with Frank Martin's Gamecocks. I think that this is a knockout game. What I mean by that, you lose, take your butt home. But Frank Martin was asked about teams getting into the tournament, and here's what the ball coach there said for the Gamecocks.
We won 18. We won 9 non-league games. We won 9 conference games. Is that great? Is that good? Is that bad? I'll let other people make those determinations. I know I'm proud of my team. And at the end of the day, the people in the committee are going to select who they feel belong in the tournament.
Frank Martin has a lot of passion, you can tell. He had a comment about the computer models. Let me play you that too, because I think this is kind of funny.
It should come down to 3 things: who you play, where you play, did you win or lose? Everything else is irrelevant. Point differential, efficiency. Man, that stuff is for people that live their life on a computer.
Yeah. Coach Frank Martin there. It's like he's the guy from Revenge of the Nerds where he's just screaming, "Nerds! I don't need your damn stats, nerds! We won here, we won there. That should be good enough for you, nerds." It's kind of how I feel Frank Martin. He wants to say that, but he can't. I'll say it for you, Coach Martin. In fact, if you need me to be the spokesman for you to say the things for you that you really feel, I'll be happy to run around calling people nerds. We won 9 SEC games, nerds. We should be in the tournament. What's wrong with you? I think that's kind of what Coach Martin was wanting to say, but a little more polished. I have no problem being the jerk for anyone. I can be your jerk too. Follow me on Twitter at RobSoundsGood. No problem telling people the things that you want to say. 803-978-1832. Big Barney Ross says Clemson got Christian Laettner. No. They had 7 seconds. The guy just dribbled up the court and took a shot. You tip your hat. Now, there are a couple of things I took away from that game. Clemson showed a lot of heart, and P.J. Hall is out there playing hurt and still playing like a champion. P.J. Hall getting the job done there for the Clemson Tigers as they go quietly. I say quietly. They lose in the ACC tournament, and I think their season is over. We shall see. Now, South Carolina tonight, they have that matchup with Mississippi State. There are lots of things that you can look at as far as matchups and everything else. The two teams split the season series, winning at home, winning by double digits at home. And to be honest with you, I don't know. I think that the line on that game has Mississippi State down. Mississippi State is a 4-point favorite. 4-point favorite in that setup. We'll give you some of the other lines as we roll along today. But it's interesting, though, when you look at some of the stuff from last night and yesterday. Some teams advancing. What is it? TCU knocked off Texas. Oh, by the way, and the number 1 ranked team in the country coming here to Columbia this weekend, they lost to Texas State. How the hell do you lose to a team with state that's not Michigan State when you're the number 1 team in the country? Anyway, that happened to Texas. That's not good news for Gamecock fans because Texas is going to be wound up tight, and they may come in here and throw some daggers. We shall see. We shall see. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Let's give you some scores to update you here. In the American Conference, first round game, Cincinnati is they're about to win over East Carolina. They're up 11 with 30 seconds to go. Buffalo and Akron, 7 minutes to go in the second half, as Akron leads the way 57-51 at the half. Iowa is beating the snot out of Northwestern as they lead 64-31. Daniel Moore is mocking me online. Guys who live on a computer, Rob just got attacked. Look, I'm telling you, I agree with everything Coach Martin said. You won 9 conference games, and I think one of the toughest conferences as far as overall in the country. I think you deserve a shot to be in the tournament. So I agree with Coach Martin. I don't think he's attacking me, though. Coach Martin and I could have a beer. We really could. I think we would get along just fine. Let's see here. Brandon says, I don't think South Carolina is getting into the tournament unless they get to the SEC tournament championship game. We shall see. Big Barney Ross says, Coach Martin's reality is a hallucination caused by a lack of alcohol. I don't know. I don't think Coach Martin drinks. I don't know. I don't want to hang that out on him. All right, some other games that are underway. Montana State leads Sacramento State in the Big Sky quarterfinals 45-32. They are about 15 minutes to go in the second half. LaSalle and St. Louis are tangling in the A-10, the second round game there. 21-13. LaSalle or St. Louis leads the way. Boston College trying to get another upset. They lead, or they're down 2 points, 30-28. As Coach Earl Grant has got his guys playing some decent basketball right now, as they're hanging in there with Miami. About 4 minutes to go in the first half. Creighton's got a 14-10 lead over Marquette. That is in the Big East. About 11 minutes to go in the first half there. Arizona just getting underway with Stanford, 5-0 there. Interesting matchup in the Mountain West as Boise State. Mountain West may get 4 teams in the tournament, according to bracketmatrix.com. That's where they stand right now. Boise State is down 6-5 to Nevada. There's 17 minutes to go in the first half. Grambling and Southern in the SWAC, 10-8 Southern, about 15 minutes to go. Long Beach State leads CSU Bakersfield 12-11 in the first half. About 15 minutes to go there. Finals. Toledo beats Central Michigan 72-71. Indiana knocks off Michigan in the Big Ten. That's an interesting setup there because Indiana's 19-12 on the season. They kept their hopes alive. They needed that win over Michigan as they win their 74-69. Duke, who I think is one of the biggest frauds out there right now, they had issues with Syracuse, who's playing without probably their best player in Boeheim. Duke does advance 88-79. They will play in the semifinals tomorrow for the ACC tournament. Providence beat Butler 65-61 in the Big East. In overtime, Texas A&M may have put an end to Florida's chance to get an at-large spot in the NCAA tournament as A&M wins 83-80. The point spread on that game, by the way, was 3 points. Lots of pushes out there, I am sure. Fordham wins over George Mason 54-49. That's in the second round of the A-10. TCU knocks off Texas 65-60. That's in the Big 12 quarterfinals. Cincinnati knocks off East Carolina. We just talked about that earlier as they win 74-63. Games that are getting underway right now. Wichita State's a 6-point favorite over Tulsa. LSU is an 11.5-point favorite over Mizzou. By the way, if you want to have some fun, find yourself an LSU fan on Facebook, Twitter, whatever, and just mention to them Will Wade. And the first thing that will come out of their mouth, even though we have the tape of him saying, I paid for players, I gave him a generous deal. Yeah, all of that. And the LSU fans will flat out tell you, you have no proof. What about what he said? Nah. They don't want to hear it. They still love them some Will Wade. Will Wade is going to try to get a win over Mizzou here in about 15 minutes or so as LSU and Missouri second round game there. Mizzou is not very good. They did win last night, though. They are an 11.5-point favorite West Virginia and Kansas about 3:30 this afternoon. Kansas is a 9.5-point favorite over the Hilltoppers. Kent State is a 6.5-point favorite over Miami in the MAC championship quarterfinals. Montana and Weber State. Weber State's a 4-point favorite. That game tips off at 4:30. Pac-12 games. Oregon and Colorado. It's a pick 'em. A pick 'em there with those two. UNLV and Wyoming. Wyoming is a 1-point favorite in that Mountain West quarterfinal. UC Irvine is playing UCSB. The Gauchos are a 2-point favorite. Gotta love the Gauchos. Actually, the line on the South Carolina-Mississippi State game has moved up. South Carolina is now a 5.5-point underdog. They were a 4-point underdog last night. Now they're a 5.5-point underdog to Mississippi State. Money is flowing in there, it looks like. The Southland Tournament quarterfinals, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, and Houston Baptist tip off at 6. South Carolina State and Morgan State in the MEAC quarterfinal. Bulldogs are a 4-point underdog to Morgan State. A-10 championship, Massachusetts is a 3-point favorite over George Washington. Let's see here, some other lines. Maryland and Michigan State. Michigan State's a 2-point favorite in the second round of the Big Ten tonight. I think Michigan State's going to roll them. Absolutely roll them. Anyway, Oklahoma and Baylor. Baylor is a 8-point favorite in that matchup over Oklahoma. Villanova is a 6.5-point favorite over St. John's. Western Kentucky is a 1-point underdog to Louisiana Tech in the Conference USA Championship quarterfinals. Virginia Tech got the win last night. They are a 1-point favorite tonight over Notre Dame, the 2 seed in the tournament. Man, if you're been following Clemson, man, you'd think they would have had a shot. You really do. Portland State and Southern Utah. Southern Utah's a 5-point underdog, or 5-point favorite. Alabama is a 5.5-point favorite over Vanderbilt. Stick around for that game tonight, as that's at 8:00 tonight. And there's a couple other games. Ohio State is a 4-point favorite over Penn State. Texas Tech is a 8-point favorite over Iowa State. UConn is even. I think that's right. Even with Seton Hall in the Big East there. And in the Big West, Hawaii is a 2-point underdog to UC Riverside. All right, if you want to talk about some of the stuff that's going on out there as far as the tournament, I should have an update for you after the break here. It looks like, according to my phone, that baseball may have come to an agreement. We'll look at that as we roll along. Of course, you're always welcome to join us here on the Rundown. We're going to talk quarterbacks. Always try to have a football topic every day for you. We're definitely going to talk football and talk some basketball too as we roll along here on the Rundown. Don't forget, podcast is up at 5:00. Thanks to everybody who has checked that out. You guys are awesome. As always, I appreciate it. And of course, I'm on Twitter at Rob Sounds Good. More of the Rundown we get back. We're brought to you by Mazda of Columbia. Go and buy yourself a car. CX-50 is coming, ladies and gentlemen. Get you a nice car from Mazda of Columbia, MazdaofColumbia.com. We'll be right back. Whoa. I have audio clips of you calling Kirby Smart an idiot. I also have, I'm sure people remember you referring to him as a dwarf too. So you need to calm down. Calm down there, Megan. Big Barney Ross, you need to stop. You absolutely need to stop. Bill Self has a slappable face. Like, if Bill Self were here, I feel like it would be my patriotic duty to have to slap him in his face. He has probably the most slappable face I've ever seen. He needs a good kick in the teeth. Mike Mooneyham is a great guest and would love to get him back on. We may get him on the week before WrestleMania. Some people get upset when I talk wrestling. Like Jay loses his mind. I think Jay went to a show and Hulk Hogan stiffed him on an autograph or something, and he just hates wrestling now. Or maybe Ric Flair dated his mom or something. I don't know. That didn't work out too well. The only people who don't like wrestling are people that Hulk Hogan stiffed on an interview, or if Ric Flair dated your mom in the 80s. Ric Flair could theoretically be everybody's dad. I'm not the poster child for slappable faces. You're the poster child for prophylactics, sir. Don't come at me with that. Every time your dad looks at you, he thinks, man, I wish I had one more quarter. Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. If you'd like to join us on the program today, let's get after it. Would love to have you with us. All kinds of stuff. You want to talk about Clemson last night and their failure? We can get into that. Blind Squirrel Sports says South Carolina needs to fire Frank Martin so Georgia can hire Frank Martin. I don't think that would look. We've determined the only Power 5 team in the country that doesn't have bagmen is the Georgia Bulldogs. Just saying. How do you win 6 games, Georgia? All of that mojo went into one bag and went to the football program. That's kind of what I think. All right, so we're going to talk about the quarterback battles in just a moment, but just hot off the presses, Major League Baseball and the MLB Players Association have reached a tentative agreement on a new labor deal, sources tell ESPN. While it still needs to be ratified by both parties, that is expected to be a formality, and when it is, baseball is back. So you know what that means? Tonight, free agency will probably get underway, and we'll finally find out what's going to happen with Freddie Freeman. Are the Atlanta Braves going to get off their butt and get that first baseman signed, or is he going to have to go to the Yankees? I can't watch. Now I'm going to be up all night watching Twitter to see what happens with Major League Baseball. We'll take calls on that too. SEC dog throwing some heat, saying, I can see Rob sitting on the floor a foot away from the TV in his underwear with a star on his headband yelling at his TV. No, I don't wear a headband. What's wrong with you? 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to dial if you'd like to join us here on the Rundown. If you want to talk about baseball, what's going on with the tournament, because I'm watching games up here. Yep, I'm watching West Virginia and Kansas, because I will not watch Missouri play basketball either. Conzo Martin is a complete failure. 11 wins for Mizzou. What's wrong with you? 803-978-1832. Let's talk about quarterbacks for a moment. JT Daniels is linked to a couple of teams. It's interesting. It's like he's all over the place. Where will JT Daniels go? Remember when we were talking last year, right in August, and Georgia fans were basically implying that JT Daniels could walk on water, and he basically sat on the bench and watched Stetson Bennett lead Georgia to a national title. Now, we're not mocking Stetson Bennett. He's a champion, and I guess theoretically, I get if they're giving Will Muschamp a ring, I guess JT Daniels gets a ring. I don't know. But JT Daniels basically sulked on the bench, in my opinion, and now he's moving on. Think about that for a second. You were projected to be a number, like a top. I remember seeing him at the top of the Heisman hopeful list. I remember seeing him at near the top of the NFL projected first round guys, and you can't get past Stetson Bennett. You know what? Let me give you a little bit of advice there, JT Daniels. Maybe you should have stayed at Southern Cal. Maybe that'd be a little bit better for you. Here's a thought. Don't transfer so much. Ridiculous. Anyway, linked to 3 different programs. We'll start with, in the SEC East, Mizzou, who could use a quarterback. I don't know. I mean, it seems like Eli Drinkowitz is like Trader Joe, man. He's going to get one guy, he's going to get another. Who knows? But earlier this week, he was asked about pursuing a quarterback from the transfer portal. He said, quote, "We're not actively seeking, but we're not actively shying away from it either." What a horrible way to answer a question. Not giving anything to anyone. Are you looking for a quarterback or not, man? I hate when coaches answer questions like that. The other team that's in the mix is he's visiting Oregon State and West Virginia. Okay. I don't know where to go from there on that, but we shall see. All right, so I found this article earlier and was talking about 10 quarterback competitions to watch as we head into spring practice. You got to start with the Auburn Tigers. They've got some interesting the transfer portal has really made their quarterback room interesting. TJ Finley was at LSU. Zach Calzada was at Texas A&M, and Robbie Ashford is an Oregon transfer. We'll see who of those 3 has the opportunity to lead this Auburn team who, I talk about the bookcase of accountability. Auburn is either going to be 6-6 or 10-2, one or the other. They're going to be, I don't know which way they're going to go. I really don't. Other teams in the mix, other teams with quarterback stuff is Washington. The Huskies have Dylan Moore, Sam Heward, Michael Penix Jr., who comes in from Indiana. Transfer from Indiana to go to Washington. Okay. The Clemson Tigers make the list. DJ Uiagalelei and Cade Klubnik. Look, I think that the spring game is going to be a big deal. Now, there's been video out there that Uiagalelei has been doing some he looks good as far as the way he's working out and all that stuff. Yeah. He's out there and he's dropped some weight. Yeah, awesome. Here's a thought. If they're in their opening round, in their opening game, if he falters the least little bit, Klubnik's going to get some snaps. They're going to see how he can do against the pressure of being out there in live rounds, basically. The North Carolina Tar Heels have Drake May and Jacoby Criswell. We'll see where they end up going there. That's the guy that's going to replace Sam Howell. Big shoes to fill. And if North Carolina wants to make good on that recruiting class they got, which they unseated Clemson as the best recruiting class in the ACC. Both teams finished in the top 10. I think North Carolina was number 8, if I remember correctly. But, man, if they had Sam Howell one more year, they could really build on that. But it's going to be a big deal. Who's going to take the over the reins there? And we'll see how that works out. The Florida Gators have Anthony Richardson, Emory Jones, and Jack Miller, who transfers in from Ohio State. I don't know which way they're going either. Richardson seems like he could do a lot of things, but man, they threw a lot of interceptions. A lot of interceptions. Obviously, new season, new coach, etc. Ole Miss has Luke Altmaier and Jackson Dart. I think Jackson Dart's going to get the ball there until they can groom someone else. Also, you've got the Texas Longhorns. I don't know which way they're going to go. Hudson Card and Quinn Ewers. It may be Ewers. The guy's getting, $100,000 in NIL money is what I've been told. Got to make that money. Jay wants to know, he says, cheers to you on his birthday. Well, happy birthday, Jay. He goes, do you drink beer or strawberry yoo-hoos to celebrate? I don't drink the strawberry yoo-hoos. I will have a beer or two, though. All right, let's go out to the phones, 803-978-1832. And welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon. Hello. Yo. All right. Well, then you can call back after the break. It's kind of funny. The strawberry yoo-hoos. I mean, happy birthday to Jay. He's what, 76 years old? Happy birthday, Jay. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll look at some more of these quarterback battles. And we'll figure out what we're going to get Jay for his birthday. I don't know if he needs some Depends or some Insure. Whatever it is you need, Jay, I got you. I'll stop at the pharmacy on the way home. More of the rundown when we come back. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. That's good stuff there, Rick. My birthday is May 30th there, Brandon Kuhn. Are you going out for your birthday? If you find some lady that's giving you some time, if you look down and the shoulders are broader than yours, just hurry up and finish. There you go. My advice to you for your birthday, Jay. You know, all of us May babies, right? You know what that means. Our parents like to get freaky in August. Some of that summer heat. Maybe I shouldn't tell that joke on the radio. The shoulders are broader than yours. Hurry up and finish. $20 is $20. Where's Jimmy at? He knows what I'm talking about. $20 is $20, right? The hell's wrong with you, Jay? You gotta lay off the coke, man. Lay off the coke. Welcome back to the rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. My name is Rob Sanders, looking at some quarterback battles that are going to be going on here. The Oregon Ducks have Bo Nix and Ty Thompson. I think Bo Nix is going to go out there and he's going to attempt to star out in the Pac-12. We shall see how that goes. Texas A&M, you know, Jimbo Fisher. I mean, hey.
The hypocrisy is a joke. It's an absolute joke, and it's insulting to our staff, how hard we work, to how we do things. And it's insulting to Texas A&M because there ain't a better place to go to school and play ball. If we don't like it, we're coming on. Get used to it. We ain't going nowhere.
He's got so many guys lined up as his who's going to be his quarterback. But hey, we're supposed to believe they're the fourth, fifth best team in the country. Haynes King, Max Johnson, the LSU transfer, and Connor Weigman. Yeah. I don't know. Look, the thing with Texas A&M, when he says stuff like that and stuff like this.
It's an absolute joke. The people put the hard work in and do it. It's irresponsible, but it's funny when they get it, it's all okay. Ball games are changing, man. And it ain't because of NIL and what goes on. It's pretty irresponsible of all of them. They're clowns.
Yeah, well, look, the only people that really like Texas A&M are the Texas A&M fans and Beggin' Megan, who wants to defend Texas A&M. That's pretty much the only two sets of folks that like Texas A&M. I'm willing to bet that Beggin' Megan has right now, because it's a little cold outside, he's probably got one of those Texas A&M turtlenecks with the Aggie logo right there, just right under his chin. I would buy into that. Trust me, he'll call up here defending Texas A&M to the end of time. Anyway, also, you've got the LSU Tigers. Who's going to be their quarterback? Is it going to be Miles Brennan? Is it going to be Jaden Daniels, who just got into the program? or Garrett Nussmeier. Look, as far as if I got to choose, I hope that it's Miles Brennan, who is really, a guy that has stuck with the program, and hopefully he'll win that job. Jaden Daniels, yeah, he may transfer out again. Who knows? Let's see here. Big Barney Ross says, I'll tell you what's a joke, ticket prices. When did the ticket office put Don King in charge of selling tickets to sports events? Yeah, it's kind of interesting you say that. Everything's going through the roof. I don't want to do a show on politics, but things are insanely high on everything. Everything. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. Papa B says Jimbo is going to beat Kiffin by 100. 100? Okay. Megan says, I have a man crush on how could I have a man crush on Jimbo Fisher when I don't defend Jimbo Fisher at all? I mean, I just play clips like this one.
It's funny when Nick Saban said his quarterback got an $800,000 deal. It was wonderful. Now it ain't wonderful no more, huh? But ours, we ain't got that. Ours are on record. What comes up? We ain't doing all them big deals. Ain't none on our place we know of. That's funny when you do it.
Shut up, Jimbo. All right, one more.
There is no $30 million fund. There is no $5 million. There is no 10. This is garbage. And it does. It pisses me off.
Does it?
It comes from a site called Bro Bible.
Are you
by
mad?
a guy named Sliced Bread.
Sliced Bread.
And everybody runs with it. So it's written on the internet as gospel. How irresponsible is that? And then to have coaches in our league and across this league to say it, clown acts. All right? Irresponsible as hell. Multiple coaches in our league. And the guy's griping about NIL, griping about transfer portal, using it the most and bragging about it the most. That's the ironic part. You want character? I'll take it with any of y'all. It's a joke. It does piss me off.
Oh, does it, Coach? I mean, I play those just because it makes me laugh really hard. We're supposed to feel sorry for you, Jimbo Fisher, when your program's got money on top of money on top of money, and one of the richest programs in the country as far as football goes. We're supposed to feel sorry for you. Stand by if I don't. Okay? Anyway, we've kind of talked about that before, and it does piss him off, Brandon. Very good. He's upset. I'll put my character up against anyone. Generally, when you say something like that, you've probably done something that, you don't really want to talk about. What a mess. Jay normally says a lot of stupid things, but today's his birthday, so maybe he has gotten smart, because this is a very smart comment. Lane Kiffin will win the West before Jimbo Fisher. You know what? I might buy into that. And I'm putting that on the bookcase of accountability, because you know what? I sign off on that too. Lane Kiffin will probably win the West before Jimbo Fisher does. And it'll piss Jimbo Fisher off, because that's, once again, he's pissed off all the time. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number now if you'd like to join us here on the Rundown this afternoon on Fox Sports Radio 1400. SEC Dog with a good comment. He's already broken. He can't handle the SEC. Dumbo is a joke. He's not a joke. He's pissed off. Remember, he's told us that. 803-978-1832. He may crack. He just might. He is like, I gave Kirby Smart a lot of grief for having top classes and not actually finishing the job. Yeah, he's going to get that heat this year from me. Until you break through, you are right there with me on that. Win something before you start making comments and talk about this is the best place to play ball and we're coming on and we ain't going nowhere. Really? Another 8-4 season? Bless your heart, sir. Bless your sweet little heart. All right, so Papa B helping me out here saying, yeah, I got to get back to the March Madness stuff. Look, I could go on the air every day and goof on Jimbo Fisher because I think he's a complete idiot. But I do have some March Madness stuff, and we'll talk about the SEC tournament tonight. I think South Carolina's matchup with the fine folks from Mississippi State is a win or go home game. I know Frank Martin is in the mix saying, hey, you know what? Computers should have us. Yeah. The computers suck. Basically, it should be where you are. In some ways, I kind of agree with Coach Martin. But on the other hand, I think you got to win a game. By the way, I went back and forth on Twitter with someone. Imagine that, me debating someone on Twitter. We were talking about, should Kentucky be a number 1 seed or should Kansas be a number 1 seed? And this guy's a hardcore Kansas fan. And it's like both teams are 25-6 on the season or something like that. But I think Kentucky, as of right now, should be in the tournament simply because they beat Kansas by 18 points. I think they should be a 1 seed. I really do. I think the SEC this season is a little bit tougher than the Big 12. We shall see. I love the Kansas fans, though, because they think they invented basketball. We started basketball here. What a mess that is. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. SEC Dog says, seems like he's already cracked. And he promoted James Coley to co-OC. They better have a 5-star punter. Jay says, Kevin Sumlin won more games than Jimbo with less than half the money in the same amount of time. Bring back a real coach. I'm telling you, he hasn't been right since he left Florida State and the stuff happened with his wife and the Florida trainer. He hasn't been right since. Google it. It's out there. I mean, it's just the way that it is. All right, quick break. We come back. We'll look at some things to look forward to in the SEC tournament as the big games come up tonight. Someone said Mizzou's already down by Brandon says LSU is up 25-6 over Mizzou. And they just started. I guess Will Wade will be able to give his players a break. We'll see how that works out. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. More of the rundown. We come back. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. Yeah, all those guys that are making hundreds of thousands of dollars in NIL, do you think they're really going to be locked and loaded and are going to be committed to being great student athletes? I don't know. We shall see. Look at Brandon with the comment. LSU is up 30-8 now. Mizzou is not that good. Uh-oh. Yeah, but Show Mimo, you know about the whole, they can't fire Conzo Martin until May. So I think you got one more year of the Conzo train there. Seriously, they've got a horrible contract with Mizzou. By the way, have I mentioned that I don't like the Duke Blue Devils? Screw them and their fans. Their coach looks like the Count from Sesame Street with the clap. I don't like that guy either. Who was it the other day? Is well, who do you like, Rob? I like lots of people. I don't like Duke, though. That's right, Jimmy. We'll put that up there. Yeah. Yo, Marquette's got Shaka Smart. I wish they would go and get him at Clemson. I really do. Jay, that's off the top. You know what? That whole story ended up working out the wrong way. We're not going to talk Duke lacrosse. That might get me canceled. When you get the district attorney fired, you've done something. Exactly. Innocent. Very good, sir. Very good. I don't like Kansas either. Final segment of the rundown this afternoon here on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Some things to look forward to in the SEC tournament. You know, I was reading some stuff about Arkansas and Auburn kind of having a rivalry there. Coach Musselman at Arkansas is a great coach. I think he's coaching the NBA all over the place. I like Coach Muss a lot. I don't like Bruce Pearl. I think Bruce Pearl's had some issues. So, yeah. Anyway, Auburn guard Zep Jasper on the Locked On Auburn podcast says, we feel like we were disrespected. Arkansas feels like they got to win, and they feel like they're better than us right now. But if we play against them, the intensity is going to be high. The energy is going to be high because we feel like we've got something to prove against them. I kind of like that. He also says, we feel like we're going to beat the crap out of them when we see them again because from their coaching staff, their players, their fans, we just didn't tolerate the disrespect they put out. I kind of like that. Hey, you beat us. Now we think we're a better team. And then we'll go from there. Bob Huggins, by the way, I'm looking over my shoulder. Bob Huggins he's got to be, I don't know how old Bob Huggins is, but he's rocking a mullet. He's got to be in his 60s, 70s. He's just walking back to his huddle now. And as Kansas is beating the snot out of West Virginia, they're up 19-4. West Virginia was 4-14 in conference play. Bob Huggins may retire. He may retire. Who knows at this point? Remember Bob Huggins with his teams at Cincinnati. They were really good. Anyway, I like the idea of the basketball rivalries. It used to be that, Kentucky and LSU at one point were pretty good rivals in the conference back in the days of Shaq and Rick Pitino and all that. And there are some good SEC rivalries, I would guess. But I like the idea of Auburn and Arkansas getting a little snippy with each other. 803-978-1832. Megan with another dumb comment. He says, Rob's envy of the SEC is growing each day. He wants to be in the club so bad he can taste it. Now, I don't want to have this whole thing where I have to cheer for a conference. That just implies that you've got about 4 brain cells. Why would I do that? I mean, I can actually read and put sentences together and have my own thoughts and opinions and not have a marketing firm determine how I actually feel. I'm going to pray for you, Megan. You need it, my friend. You really do. Some of the other things for the SEC tournament, the 9-9 bubble, 5 SEC teams went 9-9 in conference play. Will they get, how many of those are going to actually make the tournament? I do think Alabama and LSU are probably safe. We shall see. But obviously Texas A&M, they won today, so they could be right there in the mix. I think they need a win tomorrow. Also, South Carolina, I think, would have to win at least 2 games to get themselves into the tournament. I think Tennessee's a bad matchup for South Carolina, though. I think they may win today and then go from there. But, yeah, those 9-9 teams, they're all really good teams. All 5 of them are probably going to play in the postseason, the NIT or the NCAA. It looks like Florida may have clinched themselves a spot in the NIT. Alabama, what are they going to do? Because they're a team that man, we've talked about it. If they hit the three and they rebound, they're going to be really great. If they don't, not going to be good. Also, Tennessee is just coming around, and they could be a team that I don't think anyone wants, any of the number one seeds want Tennessee in their bracket as a 2 seed, because that's where they may end up. I think Tennessee is right there where they're up at the top of the mountain right now, right when they need to be. And they may get a number 2 seed if they win the SEC tournament. And I don't think anybody really wants to play them. I really don't. Coach Barnes has got his stuff together. How many coaches are actually coaching for their job? I mean, we talked about Conzo Martin. I think in his contract, they can't fire him until May 1st. So, yeah, there's that. But Mike White, is he on the bubble? I think the stuff with Frank Martin is silly. I think that South Carolina plays blood and guts every chance they get. And I don't think the program, they talk about we have to change the direction of the program. What do you want? I mean, they're a winning program right now. They just got to break through. So I do think Ben Howland's probably going to get fired, especially if they lose tonight. I mean, he is 64 years old. Does he really want to do this anymore? We shall see. And then it comes down to this, the battle for a number 1 seed. You can make an argument for Auburn. You can make an argument for Kentucky. But the reality is that Tennessee may win the whole tournament. They really could. Show Mimo has a great point there. The SEC is becoming the new powerhouse in basketball, how things have changed. Yeah, it used to be pretty much it's Kentucky and everybody else. Now you've got, in my opinion, you've got Auburn is going to be a top 3 seed. Kentucky's going to be a top 3 seed. Tennessee's going to be a top 3 seed. And Alabama, I think, is going to make the make the Sweet 16. Yep, that's kind of where I'm at with that. I don't think that, I think the SEC has 4, maybe 5 teams that could make the move around and make the Sweet 16. Obviously, if they get matched up against each other, that won't happen. But if things come out correctly, they could have 5 teams in the Sweet 16. I think that the ACC this year is down a little bit. And, we had Andrew Jones on from Tar Heel Illustrated. And he's like, yeah, you've got Duke and then a couple steps back and then a lot of other teams. I think Virginia Tech is a team that could possibly do some damage. Notre Dame, when they shoot the 3, they play very well as well. But a lot of that, you live and die by the 3-point shot. You got to have some teams that have some guys in the paint that can actually do some damage. Those are the teams that go far. Those and teams that have stability in the backcourt. Senior leadership is what gets you into the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. Let's see here. Daddy O says the NIT was the best tournament at one time. Yeah. I mean, it used to be really cool where they would have the sites, the games on campus and all that. Yeah, that's kind of neat. I mean, I'll still watch some NIT games. Definitely be watching some NIT games. That's the truth. Anyway, let's take a quick call before we get out of here. And welcome to the Rundown. Good afternoon.
Hey, well, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, buddy, go quickly. We don't have a lot of time. What you got?
Hey, well, I think Chris is gonna make a move soon on Brownell because I think he's gonna get a new basketball coach soon.
I think there's a lot of people that love Coach Brownell, but I don't know which way they want to go. We'll have to see.
Yep. How you going, my friend?
All right, man. You have a great day. All right. Appreciate you calling the program. All right. Tomorrow on the show, we'll have a reaction for what happens tonight. Major League Baseball is going to have a labor agreement. We may have free agency overnight. By the time we get back on the air tomorrow, we may know more about Freddie Freeman and everything else. By the way, be sure to listen to Lawton Swan of Clemson Sports Talk. He is the czar of Clemson Sports. He'll have everything you need to know about Clemson and, of course, their failure last night in the ACC tournament. Not the outcome that they wanted, but
stop looking at me, Swan.
Be sure to check out Swanee on Twitter at Clemson Sports. I'm on Twitter at Rob Sounds Good. Appreciate everyone following me over there. if you would like to interact, we'll be happy to chat with you there. More of the rundown tomorrow on Fox Sports Radio 1400. All right, you guys are awesome over there. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you tomorrow, okay?